Let's go! It's time for the talk to you. 'Cause when comes fall, it's always coming due. And all green is always on the sea. And we're gonna always bring to life together. So get ready, ready. Get ready, 'cause here they come.
What's going on, everybody? Paul Liston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Welcome to the Man Show with Boy Green Digital. This entire show, this entire YouTube is brought to you by our friends over at Northeast Roofing Professionals, that logo right above our head. And this episode specifically is brought to you by our friends over at CreativeFloristOnline.com. Allen Floral Group, the Creative Florist. Again, visit that website, CreativeFloristOnline.com, for more details on Oswego Road in Liverpool. We're talking all things Buffalo Bills. I'm solo, but only solo for a small slice of time. That's because we're about to be joined by our Buffalo Bills analyst from Cover One. It's the one and only Anthony Prohaska. Anthony, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So there's a lot of OTA stuff I want to get into with you, but I've been posing this question to all of our Jets people, Giants people, Bills people. So I want to throw it over to you, Anthony, and you let me know right off the top how you feel about it. So we got the schedule. Let's throw up the schedule here. It's easier for me to see now. Okay, here we go. Here's a Buffalo Bills schedule. If I gave you the power to guarantee a victory anywhere on the schedule, home and away, of anyone from weeks 1 all the way through week 18, who would you choose and why?
Oh, great question. Okay, I'll walk you through it because as my brain
Please, walk me through the process. And I'll tell you this, this may sway you, so hopefully not. But so I've done it. So I just thought it was an interesting question, and I posed it. And then as I've played this game with the Jets person, Giants person, I'm like, wow, there's a real science to this I didn't think about. So Giants guy gets asked it first earlier this week, Anthony Rivardo of the Giants Collective. And the Giants on their schedule, week 2, they're on the road in LA against the Rams. And the week 1 is against the Dallas Cowboys. And he says, I'm going to guarantee week 2 victory. And I'm like, oh, so, okay, cool. That makes sense. Rams are a really good team. You just knock them off. And he's like, here's my thought process. I don't think I need these magical superpowers you just gave me to guarantee a victory against Cowboys. He says, I think we could beat the Cowboys straight up. But if I can guarantee the Rams, then boom, we're 2-0. And I'm like, wow, okay. Not what I anticipated in terms of the interpretation of this, but okay, that works. And the Jets guy was more nervous. He's like, nah, I'm not going to play that game with the Packers. I just want to guarantee week 1 win, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I said, interesting strategy. So now we go to you, Buffalo boy. What do you think on this? Bring us through the process.
There. So I immediately went to some of the science of it. So like, again, not I'm very superstitious. You know this. I'm not jinxing anything. So like my first thought was like, okay, like I'd love to just be like, let's guarantee a victory against the Chiefs, right? I'm thinking AFC seeding. Okay. Like, so Chiefs, Patriots, one of the Patriots games, you know, I'd love to say the Patriots game on the road or even the home game against the Ravens, the Broncos game on the road. But then my thought immediately went to like, not saying it's guaranteed, but I was like, they can kind of win all those games anyway.
Oh, wow.
Like, without it, like, I mean, all jokes aside, and it's part of what's plagued them, they've beaten the Chiefs in the regular season like every year. The issue is they can never beat them in the freaking playoffs. And the same thing with the Ravens. Like, they've beaten the Ravens before regularly. My thought here is, so initially, I'm thinking one of the Patriots games, probably the one on the road.
Okay.
Ravens, Chiefs, or at the Broncos. But what I think I'm going to say.
Oh, great.
I think getting off to a strong start is important. And this is also a tough game.
Sure.
I'm going to say guarantee me week 1 at the Texans.
I want that's been a house of horrors for Buffalo, huh?
Yes, it has been a house of horrors. And they're a really good football team. Granted, we'll see. You know, they revamped their offensive line. How much better is it? Is it still terrible? Is CJ Stroud, has he really fallen off a cliff, or is it due to more of the protection issues? I think it's been more protection issues than anything, but he hasn't been good. But I still think that revamped offensive line should be good enough. They can run the ball a little bit. David Montgomery is a help. They have one of the best receivers in football, and then their defense is just an absolute nightmare. And I think, you know, new coach for the Bills, you know, it's the Brady regime, new defensive coordinator. If you could guarantee me that week 1 victory, let's start out 1-0. and then go from there. You know,
Okay.
you and I have talked about it on the show. We've talked about it with Jim as well. Like, if the Bills start out bad, not even just like week 1, but like what happens if they're 2-3 after 5 weeks or like 1 and
Mm,
4? With all the drama that's happened this offseason of McDermott going and people not feeling confident in Bean, and then someone underwhelmed by the Brady hire, and then, oh, the new stadium and the seats are so expensive. Like, there's a real way for it to go sour from an outside noise perspective and maybe even pressure internally if they don't start out strong. So give me week 1 against a team and a location that has given them some problems in recent years, even dating back to 2019, when the Bills lost that fluky, stupid game in Houston in the playoffs. So yeah, give me week 1 at the Texans. Let's start out strong. And then we come home Thursday night against the Lions, home opener. And then against the Chargers, I'm a big believer in, West Coast teams coming East Coast tend to struggle. I think if you can guarantee me week 1, that kicks some momentum into starting out 3-0 and then even potentially 4-0.
And not to be a jerk here, you just said, in the world that the Bills potentially start out 2-3, like what happens? Like at Texans is difficult. Lions weren't a playoff team last year, but they've been a perennial playoff
They're
team.
a good
for a
football
while.
team. Yeah.
100%.
And they're going to want to run the ball, and the Bills they have to prove they can stop the run. So,
Right.
And a short week. How beat up are you coming off of week 1 in Houston?
Right. You do have the advantage in the West Coast, East Coast thing with the Chargers, but it's a Jim Harbaugh team. New England's obviously been pretty good. At Rams is difficult. Raiders is whatever before the bye, but like I could totally, if the Bills somehow were 2-3, I could see how that happened. Like that, it would be stunning because the Bills are the Bills, but it wouldn't be based on the opponents. Like you could totally map out 2-3.
Oh, 1,000%. I talked about it last week when I did my show. Like somebody asked, like, oh, what's the hope going into the bye? So, you've got the first 6 games before the bye, or what's an acceptable record?
Okay.
And, I was like, I'd love to be 4-2. I was like, but I legitimately think 3-3 is acceptable. Like this, granted, I think there are questions on the Bills roster from a talent standpoint, and you got to see how everybody gels and how you start. But you really, a lot of these games, I feel like the Bills are probably going to be favored in a good chunk of these. But I feel like if you told me the Texans beat the Bills, I'd buy it. If you told me the Bills beat the Texans, I'd buy it. And I could make that same case for the Lions game, the Chargers game, the Patriots game, the Rams game. Like they could, before they get to the Raiders, not to overlook the Raiders, they could be 5-0. They could be 0-5. They could be 2-3. They could be 3-2, 1-4, 4-1. Like there's a lot of coin flip potential because those are good teams coming off last year. The Bills are a good team. It's good on good. And then you've got some other variables mixed into it. Like, again, that Lions game, who's more worse for wear coming out of week 1? Is it the Lions? Is it the Bills? Thursday night games are wonky. Who do either of these teams like play more of their starters in the preseason? The Lions have more of a similar team to last year. Are they in better rhythm, ready and raring to go, ready to hit the ground running to start the year versus the Bills that have a new head coach, have a new defensive coordinator, have some players returning from injury? There's a lot of variables aside from just the biggest one, which is good football team versus good football team. See who can beat them. Yeah, I think that stretch to start out the year is really interesting. I think they could legitimately be like 2-3 or 3-3 going into the bye. And I could be sitting there being like happy with it, being like, well, they played a bunch of good teams. They played them all tough. They turned the ball over too much this one game, yada, yada. But yeah, that's why I think going into my reasoning there is, get the Texans game out of the way, start out 1-0, good vibes, positivity going into the home opener and the new stadium opener for what is a really difficult stretch on paper right now to start the year in weeks 1 through 5.
No question. Now let's get into some OTA takeaways. There's a lot of stuff I want to highlight here. We'll start off with this one. Our buddy Sal Capaccio, our mutual buddy here, WGR 550. Dalton Kincaid apparently did not have knee surgery this offseason, and he addressed it with the media, and he explained that he talked to a lot of smart medical doctor people, and they assured him that, hey, man, we don't think surgery is the best way. And I've heard this before. Like I blew out my leg before, and we walked through the process, and I'm not a premier football athlete, but they walk through the pros and cons of no surgery and surgery. You're going to be like this level for the rest of your life if you don't get surgery. I'm like, okay, surgery sounds good to me, but every injury is different. Every injury is unique. What did you make of this explanation of why he chose not to have surgery? And are there any concerns for you heading into the season? Because sometimes you've heard of players choose not to have surgery on a situation, and then they realize later, oh crap, I needed surgery for this situation. So is there any concerns for you on the Dalton Kincaid situation?
Anytime there's any injury, I'm always concerned. I'm just always like paranoid about everything, but especially one that's like this, where it's like, you could have surgery. Okay. You don't have to. Okay. We can strengthen around it, try to work through it. The one I always think of, Ed Reed and Peyton Manning both had very similar, like the nerve impingement injuries.
Yeah.
Manning chose to have the surgery that kept him out for that significant period of time, which ended up leading to him going to the Broncos.
Right.
Ed Reed opted against it and chose to just build up the muscle around it. That's why that version of Ed Reed, his traps were like, it looked like he had footballs in him, because he just tried to strengthen all of his neck and his shoulders and his muscle and everything around it. And we saw like both of them had to deal with it differently, like Ed Reed, and then Manning missed the season, missed a good chunk of time, but then the strength in his arm was done like a couple years after that. I never, again, I'm not a medical guy, so I don't know what the right answer is. My bigger concern is that, or the biggest concern I should say, is that he's got a knee injury that it seems like he's going to have to manage for his career. Like, this is something that, is this a conversation we have every year of strengthening the knee versus, getting surgery? Is it something that is always going to linger? Is it something that's more degenerative and is going to get worse over time? That's what's really wonky for me. It's something that he's kind of been dealing with for a couple years, which I just don't like that. You like, in an ideal world, it's like, oh, I got this injury. Okay, I healed it. I'm good to go. Oh, I may have hurt it again, but it's not like it's been the same thing I've been dealing with. It's the same thing. And, for him to, he said he would have had the surgery, had the doctors recommended it. He expected to have surgery, and then he got different advice. It just seems muddy in some way, shape, or form. And, he's added apparently 10 to 12 pounds of muscle on his body. So I think he's trying to take care of himself in different ways. And
is he in the best shape of his life too, Anthony?
Probably. Everybody always says that. No, I'm in the best shape. I feel the best I've ever been. I feel amazing. I feel great.
110%. Yeah.
That's it. But that's also scary too, that you have to like maintain a certain amount of muscle. Not saying this is the case, but like, if you have to maintain a certain amount of muscle or body definition to support this lingering or consistent,
because you didn't have the surgery, right? Yeah,
correct. Like that, it just creates a lot of avenues for potential problematic things down the road, and that's kind of what worries me and scares me a little bit. And again, I think this kind of comes with the territory with Kincaid. I think this is something, not even just the knee, but injuries are a thing with him, and it's going to have to be monitored with a fair amount of regularity every year. Not just the knee, but he's had shoulder stuff before. I think it might have been the knee too. That is what kept him out of a lot of the draft stuff that offseason, the combine, right, pro day. He didn't get a chance to work out because he was coming off of injury. I think this just kind of comes to the territory, which is a little frustrating.
Which I could imagine. This one, I imagine, is the opposite. In terms of this injury update, I saw this on Michael Hoyt. This is a video. I'm not playing the video, just showing the screenshot from Sal Capaccio of WGR 550. He appeared to be doing full wind sprints. Yes. I don't know what ended up being the distance, but seeing this, I have to imagine, was really encouraging for Bills fans about Hoyt's potential recovery here.
Yes, really good, really encouraging. Somebody who I follow, his Twitter handle is @BangedUpBills. His name is Kyle Trimble. He is in the medical world. I think he's a physical therapist and some other things. He's phenomenal with like looking at tape and being able to see like, okay, this guy's pushing off of this leg in this way, which means it's probably this injury, so on and so forth. But he was looking at things and noting him starting off on his right foot, pushing off of it, the way he was striding. This was really significant progress. I saw somebody else talking about his heel not dropping when he was pushing off and how that's a good sign. This is really encouraging to see. I mean, he had the Achilles injury in week 9. So that was like early middle November-ish. So the fact that he's out here in a helmet, I don't care if he's not taking part in drills. The fact that he's like full tier sprinting, pushing off of that injured side, really encouraging, really good. I think he's somebody that, granted, we'll see what level of health he is or what version of himself he is, but I think he's a perfect fit for Jim Leonard's defense. And I think he is arguably the person who will benefit most from this new defensive coordinator change. I think his skill set could really be unlocked and utilized to its full potential under Jim Leonard. So I was very encouraged to see him sprinting. I'm not too big into the whole like, wow, Josh Allen threw this pass to DJ Moore and he caught it. This connection's going to be amazing because of this pass from OTAs. But I will take like this stuff, like watching guys come off of injury and looking like he's not doing change of direction and making contact and pushing through. But I was legitimately, as Sal says here, I was very encouraged to see him off to the side, sprinting, pushing, moving, and then seeing some medical professionals kind of tie in to be like, oh, this is good progress. Like week 1 looks really good. This is a possibility, yada, yada. So I was really encouraged by that.
As you should be. Again, you are watching the Man Shout Show at Boy Green Digital right now. Make sure you guys like the video. That's free to do. And also feel free to subscribe. YouTube.com/@MC Show Digital. We're working our way to 1,000 subscribers here on the channel, which is a lot of fun. So please make sure you show your support. But let's take a quick TO here, Anthony, and then we'll get into some more Bills OTAs takeaways. Again, this show is brought to you by our friends over at Northeast Roofing Professionals. And this episode specifically is brought to you by our friends over at the Allen Floral Group, Creative Florist. More after this.
Well, hello, how do you do? I got a feeling I'm falling for you. Well, hello, what do you say? I think we can make it a beautiful day. We're gonna make it a beautiful day.
What a beautiful commercial spot there. That's great. Apparently that guy was going in and out a ton, and I don't know if he was in the doghouse or what was going on there.
But he's got a bunch of mistresses or something.
Yeah, but I will say this, okay? That this has worked out for me great. That obviously there's these tentpole events like Mother's Day and birthdays and all these different holidays. The perfect excuses to go to our friends over at the Allen Floral Group. But to me, the ones that I've gotten the most run out of is when I surprise. Whoa, it's a random May 21st. And here you go, honey, just because you're beautiful. And then she goes, whoa, cool. So don't get me wrong. The tentpole events are critically important to keeping your, keeping yourself alive. But in addition to that, I think the random surprises often do the Lord's work. So I'd highly recommend that.
I second that notion completely. It's the the unexpected ones. I feel like there's you got to show up for the tentpole events and but I think that also kind of comes with the territory. I feel like your significant other is expecting, oh, well, it's Valentine's Day. Oh, it's Mother's Day. Okay, I'm expecting flowers and treats or something. But yeah, nice little, hey, it's the middle of March. Here you go. Hey, it's the middle of June. Here you go. Like something that just you're not thinking is just a regular random Tuesday or a Thursday or a Friday or something. Yeah, it's the gotta show up for the big games, but those little week 6 against the Raiders, if you got to show up, still play your game and then have a show up.
Yep. Practice. That random practice in May pay off in the long run. Again, creativefloristonline.com. Oswego Road in Liverpool. All right. You were just talking about it before the break here, Anthony. I'm not going to overreact seeing some Josh Allen and DJ Moore action, which leads us to this. DJ Moore catching up with Matthew Beauvais after the practice and saying his focus right now is simply trying to get on the same page with Josh Allen. He has all offseason to do so. How critical is that piece of the puzzle here, Anthony? And really, what goes into it? Is it just these practices? Is it game reps? Is it them bonding, hanging out doing a bromance at Josh Allen's house? Like what makes this magical chemistry, camaraderie, energy that is invested in a very interesting way? We're talking about this, right? Those random days are the ones that like really impact more so than just tentpole events. Like if we're translating that to football, there's tentpole events of games, Super Bowl playoffs and things of that nature. But the chemistry that DJ Moore and Josh Allen in theory are building up right now is the secret sauce to unlocking it once you get into the season, you get into some of those trying moments.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think getting on the same page with Allen right now, it starts with the little things. You saw this a lot with Josh Palmer in training camp last year. Things of, okay, this is how I run a route. And then Allen being like, okay, this is how I want you to run the route. This is where I want you to turn. And then the receiver being like, well, this is how I normally turn. Just guys getting on the same page of what to expect. Like if you're going to run this route, if Allen's talking to the receiver, or DJ Moore, okay, if you're running this route, what are you looking for? Okay, this is how I'm reading your body language. And then, DJ Moore talking to Alan, okay, like, where do you want me to be? How would you like me to turn, and this and that, so on and so forth. It's really just guys getting on the same page, like he says, and an understanding of timing, of expectation, of body language, making yourself available to Alan being able to pick up on the right cues from him. Obviously there's the basic things too of like knowing the playbook and knowing the adjustments and the coverage and so on and so forth. But I think it's those little intricacies. And honestly, to go back to not bring up Bills of the past, but like Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley, part of what made Allen so great with them, or made them great for Allen, was they were always where Allen expected them to be. They made themselves available in the ways that made it easy for Allen to decipher or find them. Even Dalton Kincaid does that a lot. Allen throws with anticipation a lot to Kincaid, more so than anyone, because he trusts Kincaid is going to see what he sees or be where he needs him to be. So I think that's kind of where it starts. And, if there's things off the field as well, you get some board game action or some video game action or some bonding things that kind of build up rapport or chemistry or familiarity in a variety of ways, or comfortability between the two. I think that all helps. It's definitely not a detraction in any way, but I think it starts with, just seeing the same things, getting an understanding of one another, level setting those expectations, and then being able to work and build and grow from there.
Go to board game, go.
Sorry.
No, yeah, okay. Well, I didn't mean to spring the question on you, but come on, like, go ahead.
That's my answer. And that's a real board.
I thought you were apologizing.
I know you. Like, that game is a classic. I'm a big Sorry fan. I'm also like an old school.
Sort of overrated, but okay.
I'm sorry.
Are you?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that would say the jokes write themselves here. I'm also a classic. Like, give me a good Monopoly. That's a fun time. I also
that's an investment. That's a commitment to
That is a commitment. I also like all the different variations. Like they'll do like Disney Monopoly and like Mario Monopoly and all the characters and themes and things you can kind of have with that. But yeah, I'm a big Sorry guy. There's been a lot of wars in my household growing up and currently with my wife and other family and friends over Sorry.
Any Risk action?
I've never played Risk.
I used to play that back in the day.
I've kind of wanted to. I've also wanted to get into, not just because like Allen and the Bills play it, but Catan. Like I've heard a bunch of cool stuff about that. It's essentially like Risk, like, but more not just war based. It's like town building, road building, and trying to like defeat your opponents with that. And like you buy supplies, you build stuff. So
do you have any shame for people that play board games in video game form? So like on what do we have? The Switch. We have Monopoly Virtual. So now you don't have to put all the pieces. It's just boom. Everyone grab a controller. Here we go. Monopoly, or that's one I know we have in our system. I don't get to, because of all my football work, I don't get to do a lot of that sort of social activity, unfortunately, with my fiance. Hopefully I'll get some time over the summer. But yeah, like Monopoly and stuff. Do you have any shame on that game? Like, dude, just pull out the board game. Or are you cool with people dabbling?
No, I'm cool with the digital aspect, especially for something like Monopoly, because like you said, like sometimes Monopoly games last forever. So like, where did you put the board? Is it on the kitchen table and now we can't move it? We can't use the kitchen table for a week until we finish Monopoly. Like I've been in that situation where, okay, we're playing on the living room floor. We're not done. Okay, where do we move it? Because it's like, we've got a dog and we've got a cat and one of them is going to change the board. Okay, so let's lift it and not move it and carry it somewhere. So yeah, everybody's moving it like that. I had a house there, that house slid off. Like, so I think you play digitally. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's just ease and controller. You don't have to pull everything out and make a mess and worry about losing your place. Or if you have pets, or if you have smaller children, all of a sudden your toddler's walking around and be like, oh, let me grab this. And you're like, no, like, yeah, I'm a fan.
Especially, I don't want like my turtle, like, my son just swallowed it. Well, okay. Yep. No turtle. No turtle. Go to video game is what? Okay, I'll let you marinate for a second. I can just gotta tell you some old school stuff. Crash Bandicoot, love Crash Bandicoot. Got those. That's in there. Obviously, I'm a big Madden guy, so football games, 2K, college football, things of that nature. Yeah, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask 64 action, GoldenEye. Okay, there you go.
GoldenEye, fair. Okay. When you say like go, is this a go-to? As in like, I'm having a rough day. I just want to play
comfort
something.
Food. Yeah, exactly. You could like a game that you would just slap in, whether it's disc, digital, 64, GameCube,
so
whatever.
It would have to be something open world where I can just immerse myself in it and do whatever. So it would probably be something. It would probably be like right now. It'd be like Red Dead Redemption 2, where I'll just like
okay.
lock in and just zone out and play that. Grand Theft Auto is also in that category. But I mean, I don't know. I play a lot of video games. I love them. God of War, Metal Gear Solid, like the Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yote games. I love that. I haven't played a Madden forever because they just got so bad. FIFA is another one, like, or FC, whatever they call it now. You know, give me some soccer action where I can just dive into my franchise or my dynasty and tune out all the noise and go from there. So yeah, those are several for me.
I'll say one more here. I've never owned one of these. It's probably way too expensive, and like I just don't have the time, unfortunately. Is I've seen people do the virtual reality things. I had a friend have one of those at their house. They said, "Here, try it out." I'm like, "All right." And that was one of the most full body workouts my old body could not do. So there's this game that you put on the virtual headset for, and basically, so you're just a person, a stick person, or whatever, like whatever. I don't know. I didn't never looked at myself, I guess, because like you look down, you see your hands and stuff.
Yeah.
But so there's people across the room and they're firing bullets at you, and there's bullets flying at you. So if you don't move a muscle, time is stopped. The bullets are hanging in midair. Every time you move, the bullets start coming closer. So you have to like contort. You're basically playing Twister with avoiding bullets, but you have to like be constantly looking around to see where the bullets are coming from as they're shooting at you. So you have to like do all these weird positions and stuff, and then you get through all these levels of different ways people are doing it. I got out of the game and like I was sweating. I'm like, good lord! And then I just went to go grab a drink.
Yeah. The
so
back here,
my body.
Your core is sore. Your abductors are like all like the next day you wake up and you're like, oh, like did I play like a football game yesterday? Like what happened? Like am I in the NFL? My body hurts.
And then parents and stuff are like, oh, geez, look at you. You play video games now. Your body hurts. Get the hell out of here. They just hate you. Like,
what a disgrace. Yeah, just look at you like they just that whole like side eye shake and like look and just
damn kids.
That's just disappointment. Yeah, I've never
yuppies.
Yuppies. I've never dabbled in the virtual reality stuff.
Okay.
I've thought about it, but I don't know if I think like it won't match the hype that I have, or I don't even or maybe I'm just like simple. Like I'm good with just like, let me just sit here, get me the controller. If if it's virtual reality, like, I don't know. You ever watch Black Mirror?
Oh my god!
I'm also scared of like, I don't know, if I got to go into some virtual reality and it's gonna like kill me.
Did he kick it out?
Or there's something that I'm like not. I'm just like terrified of a Black Mirror situation happening.
What a great show! I have not seen that in a while. I think there's a new season out, so I gotta go catch up on that. That's great.
There's a new season.
Show.
There's a new
season.
There is. I heard about it. I haven't watched it since a couple years ago.
The Miley Cyrus one?
No, I thought that one was good. It might have been that same season, the season after.
Okay.
The episode with, you know who Josh Hartnett is? The actor.
I'm not really good with actors.
He was in Pearl Harbor with Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's the Black Mirror episode where him and I think Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
They're the astronauts in space.
Oh, yes. I saw this one. Yes.
Yeah, that scarred me for a very long time, and I haven't been able to go back to Black Mirror because of that episode. It was absolutely extremely clever, very well written, but horrifying. Like, it traumatized me, and I haven't been able to go back. It made me sad. It made me terrified. I haven't been able to go back. So, and I mean that as a compliment. Like, the actors were great. That episode was well written. I think that show is so creative. I really do love it. But yeah, I haven't been able to go back because that episode hit me so hard that it's been years, and I'm just like, I'm still not recharged. I'm not ready to go back.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that. Although someone else who I'm not sure if he's recovered yet. Let's go to Keon Coleman, get back into some Buffalo Bills action here. So, I'm not a Bills fan, so I've never heard every single media that Keon has ever done. For the Jets, for my job, I listen to like every player press conference, interviews. Like, I hear from all these players all the time. So I feel like I get a pretty good sense of these guys. So Keon, in fairness, I've heard him a bunch of times, of course, but not nearly as much as Bills fans in the universe. It seemed like, and you tell me this, that he was incredibly transparent, as you can see here from Matt Bove's screenshot, that Keon Coleman called his own play ass last season, and he openly said, yeah, quote unquote ass, cheeks, as the kids
Love
say.
that. Yeah, cheeks.
Yeah. Let's get a direct quote, and and very bluntly honest with himself that this is a make or break season for him. Have you guys gotten this kind of candor from Keon previously? Is this a new flavor? What is this about Keon? What did you make of him being just so blunt about his current circumstances?
The first thing I made was the people that are interviewing him, I don't think are familiar with like using ass as a way to describe like poor play, because like he speaks and they're literally like, oh, like he goes like, oh, for like lack of a better word, it was I was ass last season. And nobody reacts. Like nobody says anything because I feel like they're like, what? What is he saying? You can tell they're not down with the lingo. I do think it's a good amount of candor. But I also think he's been a fairly candid guy throughout his career.
Which is what I'm asking, because like I said, I have not
Yeah.
seen every Keon Coleman bit, so that's part of my question as well. Was what we're hearing new? Like, has normally he not been very open, and now all of a sudden he's emptying out the notebook? Like, wow, I sucked last season, and boy, this is make or break. Or has he been this sort of transparent the entire time since he's been a Bill?
I think he's been fairly transparent his entire time as a Bill. They're not in specifics for like his transgressions and what's kind of led him into being the doghouse. But even last year, I thought he was fairly candid. I would say this is probably the most open he's been, but it's okay. If this is a 9 out of 10, previously he was still at like a 7.5 or an 8. It's not like he's been this guarded, shell of a guy previously. But I do think it's good that he recognizes the mistakes and where he's been. And again, but I thought he fairly recognized them last year.
Is this accurate that it is make or break for him this season?
Yeah, I do feel like it fairly is. It's year 3 for him. And you brought in DJ Moore. You have Khalil Shakir. I just think there's a lot of variables up in the air. You picked up Dalton Kincaid's, I know Kincaid's a tight end, but pass catcher. You picked up Kincaid's 5th-year option, but he's got injury concerns. You've got Josh Palmer, who was injured last year. He also has an out in his contract this upcoming year. Like there's questions at the pass catching spots. There's some questions on offense. You drafted Skylar Bell in the 4th round, who everybody and their mother seems to be super high on. So it could be like, if he doesn't perform this year, does he get cut next offseason? Does he get traded? Like, I think this is very make or break, not just for him with the Bills, but him in general. Maybe he shows some flashes and a team wants to trade for him because the wide receiver room is crowded in a good way for the Bills. And, Keon's not going to see the snaps, but another team finds the value in him, or he finally does carve out a role with this Bills team and solidifies his spot towards the top of the depth chart. So I do think it is fairly make or break. I think he's got enough traits that even if he doesn't work out in Buffalo and his, first contract runs out,
someone else takes a chance.
Yeah, I could see him kicking around, getting 1-year deals for several years because a bunch of teams keep thinking like, oh, I can be the one to tap into that skill set he has, that size and frame and athleticism. But I think this year, especially coming off of the adversity from an off the field standpoint, the adversity that he essentially created for himself, being able to show that he's learned from that, grown from it, overcome it, and has been able to match that with good play on the field, not only would go a long way in Buffalo, but go a long way towards anybody, willing to take a flyer on him going forward, even if it doesn't work out in Buffalo. So yeah, I think this is a big year for him because it's, it's not just, coming off an injury. It's stuff that is inexcusable and you created for yourself. But if you're man enough or person enough to show like, yeah, I screwed up, but I learned from it. I got better, and look how I've overcome. I think that would go a long way.
All right, here's my last one. Good Lord, is my first reaction to the screenshot we're about to show.
I feel like I know what it's going to be.
Like, what is this?
I knew it.
Is this the 5th Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? I mean, good Lord. And he's like Shredder juiced up in that movie. Like, what in the world is going on here? Matt Bove saying one of the first things I noticed was a much bigger Landon Jackson. I wanted to make sure I got a proper screenshot to sort of show this bulky son of a gun here for the Buffalo Bills. This is a massive amount of man. The shoulder, like just in general, like I said, I'm getting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vibes here, but from this guy. But Landon Jackson, what do you make of him? And quite frankly, sort of, I remember seeing a Bill Strand camp last year when I went. What did you make of his rookie season and sort of expectations heading in, and now seeing the size of this mother blanker?
So I'll work my way back. Yeah, he's apparently going to play at around 285 pounds this year, which is up about 25 pounds versus the 260 he played at last year.
Okay.
There's some other clips from training from OTAs as well that like he's big, like huge, like this image shows, but he put it on like good. He's moving
in the
well,
right
like,
places.
yeah,
Okay.
he is. He just looks like somebody shrunk down King Kong or Godzilla. Like he's just like he looks tremendously like well put together. And I think a lot of this was expected. You know, I started talking about this with when Jim Leonard came on, and it was, oh, you know, the current guys on the roster and how they fit. He wasn't going to be a stand-up, you know, outside linebacker or end man on the line of scrimmage in this defense. You know, he wasn't going to be with Groot and Chubb and now TJ Parker, Javon Solomon. He just didn't have that in his game. I thought what made the most sense was adding some weight onto his frame, kicking him inside as that 4-eye inside shoulder of the tackle and the odd front looks, and letting him work on the inside, similar to what he did at Arkansas. He played some 4-eye at Arkansas, a bit of a different defense though, from a spread aspect. And he played a little heavier at times at Arkansas as well. So I thought it was a natural transition. I also think it can end up being better for him in the long run. You know, transitioning this to the other part of the question that you asked, when they drafted him and even in camp in the preseason last year, he showed some good flashes in preseason. I think it was the game against the Bears. Maybe the game against the game against the Buccaneers in the preseason, I believe it was. You know, he had some pressures. He had some good movement. What bothered me with him as a prospect was he's a high cut guy, very long legs, short torso, and he doesn't have a lot of bend. There's more, you know, rigidity and stiffness in his lower body than there is flexion, flexibility, bend, change of direction capability. And anytime you have a guy like that off the edge, that scares me. And he's very much just length, power, compression, very much in the mold of what Bill's edges were in the defense under Sean McDermott and still seem to kind of be now. And plays the run, battles, is a violent type of player. I think this kick inside could work out for him. Now his length plays inside. He can attack guards. He's got physicality. He's got the weight now. And again, it's not like he put on all this weight and he's not going to be able to move. He looked good in drills. He looked good moving around the field. It's proportioned well. I think this could work out better for him. I still don't love him as a player, as a prospect, but I like him more in this anticipated role in Leonard's defense that I did previously at the smaller weight in McDermott's defense. There's still going to be some struggles for him, but I think a lot of this, what from me was expected, and he's playing at a weight that I was hoping he could get to. Like, I was like, just play in the mid 280s, you should be fine. And the fact that he's going to expect to play around 285 is really encouraging for me, and also a testament to him. Like, he added 25 pounds of muscle in an offseason coming off of a major injury, and he looks great. So like that's just really encouraging.
Flowers, virtual reality, OTA takeaways, and guaranteed win if you could have it on the Bills schedule, what would it be? Man, we've unpacked a lot here, Anthony Prohaska, but it's been a lot of fun. So thanks as always for tuning in.
Wait. No end of the episode question? No.
Well, I just didn't know.
No
here's my
wild
thing.
card
So this is what I wanted to, might as well, like, let's unpack this on air. I wasn't sure if you were vibing. Were you vibing with it? Were you vibing with the question?
I loved it. Yeah, I've been sitting here waiting for it, but it's fine. If you're, scared to, ask a question, I get it. I understand. It's okay. If we're hesitant, but yeah, I was waiting for waiting for that shoe to drop. I've been eagerly anticipating it, but it's okay. I don't want to have to put you on the spot or
not at all. I'm always ready for any situation because that's the kind of guy I am. So let me throw these two at you, and I'm curious how you feel about.
You're smiling, so now I regret it. I feel like I've walked myself into a trap.
Well, because I've, like I said, I've had these in my back pocket just in case, but I wasn't sure if, it was ringing your bell. So here you go. Let me throw these two at you. Okay. Kyle Williams.
Oh no,
Buffalo. Or Harrison Phillips?
Kyle Williams.
Okay, so that one not even close.
No, Harrison Phillips is a good player, but the leadership of Kyle Williams, the personality, and the production, like he was one of my, not my biggest, but one of the larger underrated aspects about those drought era Bills was how, especially that version of the Bills, was how good Kyle Williams was. If Kyle Williams was on the Bills team now, he would just be getting a ton of national recognition for how good of a player he was. He was just largely forgotten. I mean, especially too playing alongside like Mario Williams and Jerry Hughes and Darius, and then Rex Ryan comes in. There was all these different stories and narratives around the team, but he was just year in and year out, good person, good leader, and a really good football player. Yeah, Kyle Williams.
Okay, let me throw one more at you if I can.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, I love these things. I can play games all day and answer this or that and these questions all day.
Okay, good. You're gonna love
no.
this one.
I'm not gonna like it. I can tell I hate it already.
Okay, so let me throw this one at you.
I don't want to play anymore.
Okay, yeah, come on. You've started to swim in these waters. Kyer Elam or Aaron Mabin?
Oh man, Kyer.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
he at least had some flashes. Like there were moments where I believed that and let me unpack this too. Like I was much lower on Kyer Elam than a lot of Bills people.
Okay.
Who all told me like, no, look at the traits and watch him lock up Jameson Williams at Alabama. And I was like, he wasn't locking up Jameson Williams. He was grabbing and holding him all day. Like that's going to be a penalty in the NFL. I had a lower, I did not have a first round grade on Kyer Elam. I was not a huge fan of the pick. I was very underwhelmed and opposed to it, but he showed some flashes that got me encouraged. Younger Anthony, little Anthony, was also not a believer in Aaron Mabin. Did not want Aaron Mabin. I very much wanted I wanted Brian Cushing or Brian Arakpo. Cushing, I believe, went before Mabin. Arakpo was still there from Texas. The Bills took Mabin. Washington took Arakpo, and Arakpo ended up being sweet. But I wanted Arakpo or Cushing. I was underwhelmed by Mabin, but I don't remember Mabin even having any of the positive flashes that Kyer ever had. Like Kyer had a couple interceptions and plays where it was like, okay, encouraging. I don't remember Mabin having any of that. Plus, granted, the Bills traded up slightly for Kyer, but Kyer was a back end of the first round pick. Mabin was like a top 10 pick or 12 or 11. Like he was a top half of the draft kind of guy. Yeah, so I would take Kyer. Aaron Mabin is one of the most disappointing Bills picks in history or players.
Jets legend, baby. Nice.
He
it ran him 6-sack season or something. And I was like, whoa, okay. All right.
That was another one where like people were just like, oh, of course, this is our life as Bills fans. Like Mabin went to the Jets and now he's like doing kind of sweet. And kudos to him. I think he's I saw some story on him. He's doing like,
oh yeah, he's doing great work in the Baltimore area. I think
yeah,
is where he's at. He's
giving
back.
Or kids.
Correct. Yeah, raising money, and he recently there was a school in the area. I think it's Baltimore area. That one I'm not sure, but I know we both know the goodness that he's doing in the universe. There was a school that he helped that couldn't afford air conditioning units, and it gets brick hot here in the summer, and he was able to raise money to get AC units and all these like schools that were just baking that are like basically stone schools that were like getting nothing. And he did that. He did a clothing drive. He does artwork too, which raised money for charity. So yeah, shout out to him. The call beyond football. I know we're a football show, but huge props to him.
And there's even I would say I Googled some stuff too. There's even going back as early as 2018. He raised $82,000 for an elementary school in Baltimore that lost heat and electricity during a winter like cold storm. Yeah, I saw I don't remember where I saw it. It may have been like ESPN or NFL Network or something. Yeah, he's very active in like I think that's what he does now. Like he's just
I believe
like
so.
an not and I don't say activist, but like he just raises money for schools or kids and does stuff with like books and education and like so kudos to him, especially for I mean, I know he just got ragged on as a player for forever. But yeah, it's really cool to just see what he's done after football. And yeah, really apparently a good person. So yeah, kudos to him.
Last one here. Let's go just random here.
I like it.
Dick Duran.
Oh boy.
Chan Gailey.
Oh, Chan Gailey.
Wow, really? Okay. By the
Yeah,
way,
those
here are the
offenses were at least a little fun. Dick Duran was just
Yeah, he
so
was there from 2000. Dick Duran will start with first. 2006 to 2009. He was there for 4 years. 24-33 was his overall record, unfortunately. Chan Gailey there for 3 years, 48 games, 16-32. There you go.
yeah.
Stats aren't everything, and wins aren't
No.
everything, obviously.
But
So,
Chan had some at least fun moments with the offense and
okay.
like, oh, what he could do and tap into. Dick Duran was just very bland, underwhelming. I at least had some moments of excitement with Chan and at least a little more hype too, because like I knew the track record and the name that came with it.
Mhm.
I remember when they hired Dick Duran, part of me got excited for a minute because he came from the Bears,
Yeah.
and the Bears had
Bears.
that Bears. They had that 1 year where I think they were like the 1 seed or the 2 seed, and they lost in the divisional round to the
Mhm.
Eagles at home. Like, or that was when Urlacher started to break out and their defense was a big thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would take Chan Gailey.
Okay, there you go. Well, awesome stuff, Anthony. I'll keep them coming. You've confirmed your interest in it, so we'll make sure we keep these cooking moving forward.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I was very disappointed initially when you didn't have
Hey,
any of these
hey,
challenging questions, and then of course you
hey,
hit me with two that were just like like right in the gut. So I get what I
excellent.
asked for, but I enjoy it. This was a fun time. Yeah.
Okay, good. I will keep cooking these up moving forward. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in again. Like the video, hit subscribe. We'll continue to have Anthony Prohaska and these weekly Bills check-ins throughout the offseason. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.